Namaskar and welcome to our 13th episode of our program Samarpan Yatra, meaning a journey of devotion. Today we are at Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa, and we will be having interactions with Ms. Tashmica Sharma. She is a deputy president of Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa, and she will be with Mr. Sajeel Maharaj, who is the executive member of Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. Without wasting a lot of time, now allow me to hand over to Ms. Masamukele Buqa to start the interview. Over to you, Masamukele. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sphiwe, for the warm, welcoming remarks. My name is Masamukele Buqa, and today we are at the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. I hope I pronounced that right. And we will be speaking to Tashmica Sharma, who is the deputy president, and also we'll be speaking to Sajeel Maharaj, who is the executive member of the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. So we'll just get straight into it, and we'll just like to know more about the SSDSSA, which it's actually well known for. So I'll go ahead with asking the first question. I'd really like to know, could you just kindly tell us about the SSDSSA, its history, its perspective, and its vision? Could you please kindly tell us more about it?
Namaste, Namaskar, Vanakkam. My name is Tashmica Sharma, and I'm the Vice President of the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. 161 years ago, Indians arrived in South Africa as indentured laborers, under legalities that they could neither read nor understand, under such restrictive legislation and the difficulties that apartheid system posed to them. They were able to sustain our dharma, our religion, our vernacular, and our culture in Hinduism and from India. In about the mid-1900s, 1941 to be exact, the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa began with its headquarters in Crab Street. This organization was formed by a group of visionaries who saw the need to sustain religion, and not just sustain it, but to formalize it in a way in which it had a structure. That was an organizational structure. And this allowed for such leaders to use this organization as a platform to disseminate knowledge and to bring about an understanding of our rituals in a way that we could practice it with a standard operating procedure. Because of the challenges and the difficulties presented to the Indian community during both the colonial period and even the apartheid period, they did everything they could to foster large institutions which would promote our culture, which would promote our vernacular, and inculcate a certain value system wherein the future generations would want to carry this into their succession plan for the organization. And we are proud that 80 years later, the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha still exists with a very well-structured group of individuals and leaders who are bringing about a change to the South African society while also propagating and promoting the values of our eternal religion.
Jai Shri Ram. It is indeed a pleasure to share some information with the public on Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. The Sabha was formally founded in 1941, but was already functioning since 1910. And the residence of the Sabha was right where we are conducting this interview today, the Shree Thakur Dwara Mandir, Swansea Road or Durban Hindu temple that is found in central Durban. The main purpose of the Sabha has been and still is to promote the teachings of the Vedas, the Upanishad, the Puranas, the Itihas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. The Sabha over the decades has helped to establish and support temples and other religious institutions that also did charitable work and social work. It has integrally been involved in the training of Sanathan priests in South Africa and has also promoted the teaching, learning of Sanskrit and the Hindi language. It has also worked tirelessly to bring about a level of unity amongst Hindus in South Africa.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. So what I'd really like to know now is what kind of activities do you conduct on a regular basis?
The organization has been absolutely instrumental in the training of purohits or priests. And I think in this regard, South Africa is making significant headway internationally. I think what's also very interesting when we look at the Indian diaspora and the link between India and South Africa, that India is one of the oldest democracies in the world and South Africa is one of the youngest democracies in the world. So to be making this headway with priests is something very vital for our organization. And having the control and management of the priests in the best form possible is significant for propagating our religion in this country. Apart from the priests program and promoting the Purohit course, we also use this as a platform to disseminate organizations about all Hindu festivals from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. There are guidelines on also how to conduct rituals and how to conduct festivals and Agnihotras, particularly in line with the COVID-19 regulations. In addition, we have affiliates. The Shree Sanathan Dharma of Sabha of South Africa is very much affiliate driven. And these different affiliates in the form of mandirs or other religious organizations or cultural organizations play a significant role in bringing the significance and the value of Hinduism to the rest of the South African society. In addition, we have a very well-driven youth organization and participation in our executive committee, and they play a role in disseminating this information as part of a succession plan.
The Sabha continuously engages in education by way of discourses in some format or the other. In more recent times, we have been using the social media platform to get out these discourses to people, especially in view of the restrictions that have been placed with us with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Sabha has an editorial committee of experienced and learned priests who do research and put together valuable information into the form of articles that are shared with the general public and reach all quarters of South Africa. Interestingly enough, we have found that we have had feedback from other countries as well, where our publications have reached. We have also partnered with our affiliates to hold conferences and other religious gatherings. We have worked extensively to bring about uniformity by training priests in South Africa, and we have found that in recent times we are inclusive to the extent that we have many younger people joining these courses, the 3-year diploma. We also have many females that have joined the cause. And the feedback that we are getting from the public is actually fantastic. And it makes us feel that we are on the right path with regards to the training of priests.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you very much for that. My next question is, I'd really like to know what kind of participation and response are you getting from these activities that you conduct on a regular basis?
The COVID-19 pandemic has been very limiting, but we have definitely overcome these challenges as an organization. And I think a very significant part of this has been social media, as well as the young team that we have that are working with us. And so just some of the things to cover that we did this during this COVID period, we collaborated with the South African Hindu Sabha on a Women's Month webinar. And that was to look at challenges that women face, such as gender-based violence, different inequalities, economic empowerment and entrepreneurship. And so we had quite a positive response, because this has become a growing challenge, not just in South Africa, but all over the world. And we want to show, as an organization, that we are taking an interest in talking about these challenges, such as drug abuse, alcohol abuse, gender-based violence. So the organization is really taking an interest in some of these difficulties that we are facing as younger people and as older people as well. We also use our social media platform in the last few years to share our guidelines during this COVID-19 period, to assist purohits and different families who want to engage in prayers and rituals, how to guide them, to explain what the meaning of each in Vedic injunction or mantra is on our social media. We've also played a very important role in the past in celebrating different festivals with disadvantaged communities who did not have the means or the opportunities to celebrate these festivals, such as our Navaratri program at the Aryan Benevolent Home, our Hanuman Jayanti program, our Gita Jayanti with the Durban Hindu Temple, where I'm seated right at the moment. And so those have all been very, very positive programs for the organization. We've had a very young team, and one of the biggest challenges in most organizations that we face in South Africa is getting youth. But this organization has been fortunate in that we have a lot of good youth leaders. And we saw that very positive outcome from our work, from our social media, from our young team this year in our council meeting, where we had a huge turnout and a lot of good concerns that came out of that council meeting for us to reflect on. Our 80th anniversary has also been in this year in 2021. And so to commemorate that, we released a publication called the Shastra Drishti. And this was a book that would explain the importance of the Hindu festivals and prayers, to do a full explanation behind each one of these rituals and festivals, to assist all communities, not just Hindu communities, but all communities, with understanding the significance of these festivals and these prayers, as well as the younger communities, future generations who are up and coming and may ask questions. We have the texts available, we have the publications available, and we also have our course available, Purohit course, which is not just open to priests and religious leaders, but to anybody who's wanting to come to know more about Sanathan Dharma, who's wanting to learn Sanskrit and come back to rooting their vernaculars. We also have the presence of many Hindi pathshalas, which are also available for everybody to learn Hindi, and the Hindi Shiksha Sangh and Hindvani in that regard have become very instrumental in working with us. So we encourage everybody to come back to learning about their culture, to engage in their vernacular, and to promote Sanathan Dharma. That will be a very important thing for this organization.
So our publications are reaching every part of South Africa, which is wonderful. So even people that are employed or are studying in outlying areas are receiving our publications and the dissemination of knowledge and information regarding Sanathan Dharma is being spread far and wide in South Africa. And we are glad that we are able to use the social media platform to be able to do these. We've even received congratulatory messages from Hindus that are living in New Zealand and Australia who are also joining the online platforms to receive this information from us. We are therefore of the view that the Hindu public is benefiting from the efforts of the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha, and it inspires us to continue working hard, adapting as we are working hard, but ensure that the essence is not lost. In recent years, we have held a Sundarakand recital at the Durban Diwali festival. It has been extremely well attended, and people were looking to continue with this tradition that we have now started. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has put a damper on that, but we are hoping that as soon as conditions change and become safer, we will continue with this tradition, and we find that people enjoy it because it involves mass participation. In addition to the recital, information is shared about the content of the Sundarakand itself and how it can benefit humanity.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any challenges that you perhaps encounter or face when expanding in these works that you do?
Some of our major challenges while working in this organization have been to attract a large number of youth, and we are lucky in that recently, in the last couple of years, we have attracted many people from the younger generations. People from the younger generations who help us with understanding how we can engage in activities that will become more stimulating and more exciting to attract a large number of youth. I think what's important for us to remember is that these organizations need young blood, and in addition, they need a succession plan. They need a succession plan. And coming into the organization, learning about the meetings, learning about the different roles of leadership that each person has and each person takes and we work with has been a very significant experience and very much life-changing for somebody like me. But I think South Africa is a country where we are a 27-year-old democracy, and being only 27 years in a democracy, we have inherited certain challenges that are going to take a very long time for us to solve. And so organizations like the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa and other NGOs, MPOs, the faith sector, interfaith, these different roles in the public play, you could say, a very, very instrumental role in our democracy. And part of that is not just about solving the challenges of people who are marginalized, but actually to lift those people out of poverty. And that to us has been, to all organizations, has been the biggest challenge. So we definitely want more people to join our organization. We're definitely looking for young people, old people, anybody with an interest in Sanathan Dharma. And remember, one of the principles of Sanathan Dharma is Seva, that is service to humanity. That is a paramount tenet in Hinduism. So to serve humanity, we need a lot of people. And to bring our democracy to a level to which we want it, where we eradicate poverty, where we encourage sustainable development, where we encourage diversity, learning about different cultures, different races, social cohesion, different traditions. That is what we are encouraging as an organization, and of course our Dharma, our rituals. So I would encourage everybody to join the organization. I would encourage everybody to come with a vision to solve our challenges, and to know that if we cannot take this country to where we wish to take it, we must at least leave the instruments of this democracy just as strong as we found them. And
so I think the fact that we can't meet and gather together at places of prayer, temples, and religious organizations is certainly a challenge at the moment. Of course, we have to be responsible and we must be patient. In the meantime, we are doing our work online as much as possible. The effect is not exactly the same. We would like to go back to the norm as soon as possible, and we look forward to expanding our activities in that way when the situation permits once again. Another challenge that I think we experience is that lots of our youth are having to move out of the province, some actually moving overseas. So it's not as easy to find the right number of people to get involved and assist in activities and actually participate in the fullest way possible. But it's something that we are learning to adapt with, and we find that people that have been working with us, that have now moved into other provinces, etc., are continuing with our work there in some way or the other. Youngsters have started off their own satsangs there. They have formed social media groups, and they also log into our live broadcast that we have on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. So I think we will not look at our challenges as something that is negative, but something that will cause us to adapt and do more, because our work here is far from over, and we believe that going forward we will be able to achieve our goals in a successful manner and include mass participation.
Thank you very much for that. And my second to last question is, I'd really like to know, what are the prospects of the SSDSSA of South Africa, activities that you do within South Africa?
The Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa has played a very important part in promoting our culture, in promoting our diversity, in promoting welfare in our society.
I think we are blessed in South Africa that we are allowed, despite being a minority, we are allowed to practice our religion, our beliefs, our culture in an uninterrupted way. We believe that there have been challenges from a safety point of view, especially when satsangs and gatherings are held at night. But we've also found that the organizers of these events have learned to adapt. They've upped their security, they've looked at the actual times when these functions are held, etc. And we have adapted. Going forward in South Africa, we will always be optimistic and hopeful that we will be able to continue with our activities and attract mass participation. And what we are looking for is not attendance, we are looking for participation. We want people to get involved. We want people to bring about the change that they want to see. It would be wonderful if government takes heed to our safety concerns, etc., and gives us some kind of assistance so that we can do our work in a better fashion. We also believe that via schools and other organizations, more and more people want to know about Hinduism. They want to understand what we are doing. And we have found that when people listen and understand, they actually embrace what we are doing. By using the word embrace, I don't mean that they change their religion. No, but they become more tolerant. And they then come to a point to understand where these people are doing things in a meaningful way. There is a purpose to what they are doing, and everything that they do is actually a benefit to society. So we are optimistic that the whole of South Africa can actually learn more about what we do and we believe that they will embrace it. Hinduism is a religion that welcomes all. So we'd love to share our teachings with others, and we are positive about continuing our work, our propagation work in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was really lovely speaking to you. Now, what I'd just like to know, is there anything else you'd like to say? Any words of encouragement?
The Durban Hindu temple, Thakur Dwara Mandir, is a landmark in Durban. I don't think there's any Hindu in Durban that hasn't been here some stage in their lives. I can remember playing in this yard outside as a little boy. One of my grandparents, related grandparents, was the head priest here. And his father was a priest here as well. So on a Saturday, we would frequent this temple. We would visit, we would take meals here, and obviously get darshan of the murtis. It has been a hive of activity, and still is a hive of activity. Now with the Acharyaji here, he also attracts lots of people here. It's just a wonderful place to be. When it's, besides the COVID time, at any other festival, the halls of this place are full. It is just, I have been doing discourses here over the years, Ram Kathas, Bhagavad Gita, etc. It is just an absolute pleasure to be on the grounds of this landmark, of this holy place, to be doing a discourse. And people also feel the vibration of this place, and they attend this. If you are here on a Saturday morning, there is a non-stop flow of devotees coming here to make their offerings, to give thanks to God, to pray for something that they are lacking in their lives. It's just an amazing place to be. Personally, when I am here, I feel the presence of the divine. I'm able to shut off from everything else. I've said to people during festival times that if you are blocked off from the road and you're sitting within the confines of this building, you might actually think that you are in India. So I encourage people to visit Durban Hindu Temple. Sanathan Dharma Sabha has its foundations here. The priest organizations, the priests that were aligned to this organization, who were trustees here, who were officials here, they founded the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha and initially started it off as a priest organization, and then gradually over the years started to flap their wings, spread their wings, and do more social work and bring in all other aspects. Today I am so glad and proud to know that we have so many females that are involved in the Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa, in its management, in all the work that we do. And it's just heartwarming to know that it all started here, right here where we are conducting this interview. Our forefathers that came here didn't have it easy. They left many things behind when they came from India, but they didn't leave behind their culture, their value systems. And the fact that they were able to put up a building here with limited financial resources tell you about the kind of people that they were and the sacrifices that they have made. I'd actually like to make an appeal to anybody that is watching this video, whether you are Hindu or not. The Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha is here to do good work, to promote better quality of life in South Africa. No matter who you are, if you think you can partner with us, you can do something with us, our doors are open. Please come in, let's chat, and let us do more to propagate the good teachings of Hinduism and to make our existence here in South Africa a better one. Thank you very much.
So today we were speaking to Tashmica Sadma and Sajeel Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining us on our 13th episode. It was really, really lovely having you, and we just learned so much from you today. And I will just hand over to Sphiwe, and please do take over, Sphiwe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Masamukele, Buga. The interactions that you had with Tashmica, Sharma and Sajeel Maharaj. They were very wonderful. We have learned a lot of things this evening about Shree Sanathan Dharma Sabha of South Africa. We learned, so now we know about this institution. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, it gives me a great pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks on today's 13th episode of the program Samarpan Yatra, meaning the journey of devotion. To Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, our interviewer, Ms. Masamukele, our IT guys, Mr. Kiran Singh and Sajeel Mana, thank you very much for taking part on today's program. To all our online participants, we'd like to say Dhanyavad for taking part on today's program. You are kindly advised to visit ICCR in Durban Facebook page for more information on cultural activities organized by Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center in Durban. Once again, to our guest this evening, Ms. Tashmica Sharma and Mr. Sajeel Maharaj, thank you very much. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. Namaskar.